Whenever we're ready.
So I feel like, do we say like our usual? Because like, hey, you're listening to.
Yeah, because like if they're not, we might not put the
Oh,
beginning
you're
part in,
watching. Hey, you're watching. Okay.
I don't know. Just be normal.
Okay. Try my best.
It's hard.
Okay. Hey guys, you're listening to What the Fuck Are We Doing? I'm Randy.
And I'm Miranda.
And we're back. Happy fucking Monday. Last week we had our friend Sophia Markowitz on the show, and we got real vulnerable. Well, at least I know I definitely did. I shed some tears. So if you haven't listened to that episode, go ahead and listen to it. I also did Wednesday's music segment with Sophia. That was fun. We did this little like mood wheel thing.
It was fun. I enjoyed listening to it.
Yeah, well, that was Sophia's idea because they do that in therapy sometimes where like they have the mood
They make
wheel.
you like spin a wheel?
Well, like, okay, so I did it once when I was younger. Like one of my first times I ever went to therapy. I was like 10 and it was court ordered because my parents were getting divorced.
Yeah.
So I remember doing it like once. The chick's name was Amy, and like, yeah, she would have me point to like what mood I was feeling. Like that's what her mood wheel was. I don't know how other people do it, but Sophia decided, oh, let's do the mood wheel, and we put some moods on there and some different things, and we would both spin it on our computer and then answer like
I
what
don't know
song.
why. Like the idea of me going into therapy and then being like, okay, honey, spin the wheel. I would laugh, I think. I'd be like, okay. Like it feels like when you go to like stores and they're like, spin the wheel for a discount. And you're like, okay. That's how I would feel.
That was so okay, yeah. I definitely know. That's like, it's just like,
you know
cheesy.
what I'm talking about?
That's why
I feel like I'd start crying.
I feel like that's why it made more sense for me to do that when I was like younger. Like now,
yeah, maybe it's like a younger people technique, right? I don't know.
Yeah, possibly. But that's what we did last week, and it's a new week.
It was fun.
And this week, what are we talking about, Miranda?
So I don't know why Randy and I have been talking about this. This is just one of those things that
we randomly talk about. Like we just have to.
It just comes up, yeah,
and it comes up a lot.
Yeah, it's not like it comes up one time. Like it comes up and then it keeps coming up because we'll be like, "Have you thought about it like this? What about it like this?"
That was literally what happened the other day.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about. I don't even know how to word it really. Like basically, people say that you should always be with somebody that loves you more than you love them.
Like, have you guys heard that before? Because I know we both have definitely heard that from other people.
And so we just want to talk about it. Like, we just want to talk about, like, do we think it's true? Do we think it makes a difference? Have we loved someone more or been the one that loves less, I guess? So, yeah, we just want to talk about it.
It's such a loaded question because, like,
the reason that this really sparked it is because the other day Randy texted me and was like, but what about the people that love less or that love more? And I was like, fuck, I don't know.
So yeah,
are they being fucked over?
I've just been thinking a lot about relationships. Well, when don't we think about relationships Seriously. And things like that? But I was thinking about that the other day and I was very like stuck in thought, and I was sitting in bed and I'm like texting Miranda, like all my thoughts, literally just typing all my thoughts out. And I said, okay, so we've been talking about this recently about how we've heard from like family and just like people in general, like you should be with someone that loves you more. That's what we have been told. Why? I don't know. But people decide to share that information with us. But I was starting to think, okay, like, so say everyone's being told this, like, not everyone could be the person that's being loved more. Like, that just makes no sense. So, who are the people?
Like, are they getting the short end of the relationship stick?
Like, let's talk about that. Like,
But do they care? Because they love more. So, do they care? I don't know. I love this. I love this topic, though, because and then I wonder, too, we should have asked people, like, I wonder if I could have asked my sister and my brother-in-law, like, which one of you loves each other more? And, like, would they have an answer? Or would they be like, we love each other equally? Like, does it change when you're a married person?
That's a great question.
I'm going to ask him after this.
I honestly, I think right now I'm going to group message Ray and Gilbert.
Because it's like, I'm sure before they were married, like, I bet you Ray will have an answer. I bet you she'll be like, oh, he definitely loved me more. Or like, oh, I loved. Okay, see, I can give you an answer for Marla and Josh. Before they were married, Josh 100% loved Marla more. Like, Josh was chasing Marla for years. But now that they're married, do they love each other the same? Like,
I'm asking. I said help
maybe it's
recording. I have a question.
maybe
Do
it's
you
just a
believe?
dating thing.
Okay, yeah, because
Once you're married, right, like you should love each other the same at that point if you're like committing to a whole life with this person. But I don't know. I'm not a married woman.
I'm asking. Ray's replying. She's like, yes. Like, what's your question?
I'm like willing to bet some solid amount of money that Ray's gonna say Gilbert loved her more. I just feel like she's going to.
Let's see. Okay, sorry.
And Gilbert's gonna be like, she loved me more. He's going to.
They're such a great couple.
They are. But like, okay, like Josh definitely loved Marla more when they were dating.
And
yeah.
you think it definitely changed?
I think they're like the same now.
Okay. So I think
maybe it is a date.
She said, I think I love him more.
Oh.
We are awaiting Gilbert's response. But okay, so as we were talking about this topic, this morning I texted one of my good friends and I wanted to ask him just because I wanted a guy's perspective on it. Mm-hmm. And he said he believes that someone always has to love one person more than the other person.
I don't disagree with that.
Like, he believes that's always a thing. One person always loves one person more than the other.
I think so.
But he said that he thinks as the relationship evolves and like grows, that roles could like revert, like change. So like depending, he's like, there's different points like in your life where like one person's gonna love each other, like love the other person more than that person, and he's all, it could just change depending on what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a good way to look at it. Like literally,
it depends.
It depends. He tells me that he gets mad at me because I always say that. He's like, it just depends.
But it does. It really does. Okay, but you know what just came into my head? Like, and I don't mean this in a mean... I don't mean this in like a mean way or anything like that. But you know those like... I'm going to just give you a few examples and you're going to know the type of people I'm talking about. Like those couples that are like 18. They're like usually super religious. And they're like kind of like cool and trendy on Instagram, and they're like they always look like they're like so in love with one another. What about those people? Are they faking it? Are they both really that in love with each other?
God bless them.
Like, I just because
then I see, honestly, like,
I mean, yeah, good for you if you're happy.
If that's real, good.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, now every relationship I'm ever gonna view now, I'm gonna be like, who loves who more?
Question it.
I'm gonna be like,
who loves who more?
I'm gonna start asking people.
Imagine going up. We do that.
Which one of you loves each other more?
We should do that once like life gets better. Normal? We should go out on the street and be like, hey, we have a question. Who do you think?
We could carry all of our equipment and be like, who
let us know.
I mean, I do think that it depends. I don't know. I just think it's an interesting thing because I know that I've definitely been the person that loved someone more, and that ended up with me being like heartbroken. So now I'm not sure that I'll ever be the person that loves someone more, you know?
Like, it kind of fucked you up.
I'm like, oh, I'm never going to like someone more than they like me.
I wish I could say the same thing. I feel like...
Yeah, but you're like totally like...
If we've both noticed anything since my last relationship, I think I like to believe that I'm a lot more mean than I actually am. I like to think that I'm like putting this guard up and, you know, really protecting myself. But I think I have just come to terms with the fact that, like, I could never be that person.
No, that's just not who you are.
I'm just such an open, loving person. And I've noticed that with, like, people I have, like, gone on dates with or who, like, have tried to, I hate the word, but talk to.
Yeah.
And, yeah, like, I'm just not that girl.
Yeah. I think that, okay, after my last relationship, there were definitely people that I talked to that I liked more than they liked me.
Oh, isn't it so weird though? Like, I feel
I
like
hate the way it feels to like someone more than you like them or than they like you. I don't like that feeling.
I hate that feeling too, but it's like that's the part that almost makes me uncomfortable, I want to say, because it's like, okay, say I start dating someone or I get in a relationship with someone. Sorry, I keep moving around. I feel like I'm slouching.
I can't stop moving.
But I also don't want to feel like a giant
I know.
fucking Amazon
Okay, people,
bitch
we
on
didn't even
camera.
tell you we started this new thing where we're gonna like record our like visuals.
So hello, if you see us.
So, but we're just like still moving like we normally do. Like
Yeah,
we
like,
fidget a lot.
This is
We
our
drink
normal.
water. We apply chapstick.
Yeah, sometimes I brush my eyebrows because Shelby tells us we need to brush our brows.
Exactly. So this is just
This is the huge. So if
this
you
is what we look
see
like.
it,
Sometimes
hello.
we stare off into space and not at the camera.
Honestly, sometimes we just get so deep in thought, like it happens.
Yeah, I'm
But
also sitting. This is an actual visual
that's
of
her
my closet,
Now
everybody.
you can see inside the closet.
Here she is.
And I'm sitting out in my room.
Yeah, her room's all cute.
What were
but
we
yeah,
just
like
about?
how we don't like that feeling of being the one that's
okay,
like, oh my
but
God,
yeah,
I like
that's
them
the
so
thing that
much.
makes me uncomfortable because it's like, okay, say like I start dating someone and I like to think whether I'm just like dating someone, like it's a fling or it's a serious committed relationship, I like to think like my next whatever comes next is going to be healthy. And like I feel like I would feel bad knowing that someone felt that way because I've felt that way for so long.
Yeah.
But it's like also like I'm tired. I'm tired of being the one to give so much.
I think I honest to God struggle with both sides of it because one, I don't like to be someone that likes someone more because I just feel like ugh, like I'm so needy and like all those things that you shouldn't feel anyways, but whatever. But then I also don't necessarily love being the person that like loves less because then I sometimes like I get really easily overwhelmed with other people's feelings. And so if someone is like really overbearing and like so into me like then I'm also like okay, I can't, and then I start to like them even less than I already did.
Because it's just too much for you.
Yeah, because people overwhelm me to begin with, but like when people when people have like such strong feelings, like have you ever talked to
my God, love bombing.
Okay,
when they're just like so
and you're like,
into
oh my
you
God.
all of a sudden. Yeah, no, honestly, like I hate it, but I've been like the person who's like totally. Oh my God, I almost straight up said his name, but summer school boy, the guy that I met in summer school, and remember immediately he was like.
Yes. But that's okay. I've felt that way with certain people where they're acting that way, and I'm like, I need you to like take 12 steps away from me because this is like too much,
I'm surprised you weren't like, do you know who the fuck I am? Like I am not.
Yeah, but I also think that like a lot of people like, is that my computer or is that your computer?
Oh, it's definitely mine.
Is yours overheating? I'm scared mine's gonna do it now. Fuck, mine's really hot.
I don't know why. Maybe because I have so many damn.
What kind of computers? How much do we pay for these things? And this is how they cool down?
Yeah. I don't even like to think about how much I paid for this computer because I paid way too much money. That I like. Yeah. Why did I upgrade to like everything?
You're like, I need it all.
Yeah.
Every nice thing they have.
Yeah, literally. I was like, I need this much.
That's why I haven't upgraded yet because I'm poor.
I was on some shit.
It's okay. It was a good investment. It's
really
getting quieter. It's getting quieter. Okay. Okay, you were talking about summer school boy.
Okay, so summer school boy.
I remember.
If I haven't spoke about him on here, summer school boy was a guy that I met in one of my summer school classes. Mm-hmm. He like approached me and like on the last day of summer school and was just like, the last day of summer school was optional, guys. Like we got extra credit if we went. And this dude, I remember I saw him like throughout the semester and I was like, oh, he's cute. Like, like, okay, I don't know if you did this, but I was talking about this with my friend the other day, how like in college, like when you first started a class, like the first couple days, where you kind of like scope out the class to see who's like attractive? Do you do
Okay,
that?
well,
Did you do that?
so yes and no, because I went to a very small school, so I pretty much knew
Knew
everybody that
everyone?
went there.
Okay, see, I didn't.
Um, so I would more like scope it out to be like, is this dickhead in my class? Like more, you know
Oh,
what I mean? Not like I didn't think anybody in my school was cute, so
okay. Well,
no.
no, I feel
Sad.
like I always got in the class and I would look around either to see like who I think I would get along with or like who was like
Oh, same. I'd be like, she
attractive.
looks nice. He looks
Like
nice. Let
even
me
for
sit
like
by them.
group purposes,
Mhm.
like who am I gonna try to like
Oh
like
yeah, I used to like make like small conversations just so that they would be like, if we had to do a group project, they'd be like, "Oh, Miranda's nice,"
yeah,
and then
exactly. See, I'd be the same way. And I feel like
yeah,
this sounds so fucked up, but like not even based on looks. I'm just like really like who is someone that
who
I
looks
would
like
get
a
along
normal
with.
person? Yeah,
Yeah. But
that's
so
so
I
funny.
remember like thinking, oh, like he was cute or
Uh huh.
whatever. And never talked to him, never talked to anyone in the damn class like all
That
semester.
was
I
me.
like went like I was like it's summer, I'm not doing
Yeah.
any of that. And the last day he shows up and I like make conversation with him because we end up sitting by each other and
Mhm.
we talk and like we walk like to each other's cars together because we of course parked right next to each other like all semester. And then he's like, yeah, like I wasn't gonna come today, but I was telling my friends about like how gorgeous this girl was in
Oh
my
my
class,
god.
and I just like needed a try. So then he asked me for my number, and I was like, okay, cool. So I gave him my number, and it was like totally cute. I
Yeah.
remember telling you about it,
It
and
was normal. Yeah. At first, it
I was
was
like,
like, how
wow,
cute. Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
someone actually did that. And then like a couple days into it, like immediately, he was just like so into me, like wanted me to meet his family, like all these crazy things. And I remember like it never became a thing ever. Like we
No.
would talk like here and there, and like when we had class like we would hang out, like that was pretty much
Yeah.
it. And yeah, that was kind of scary. And then I remember like in May, right before I graduated from Fullerton, he was in one of my classes and he was like totally, this is so beginning of quarantine, on Zoom private message, was like totally flirting with me fucking during class and like texting me and shit. And then the next day, what does this man do?
Mhm.
He posts a picture of him and his girlfriend.
Yep.
I was like, wow.
He was a weird one from the start.
Oh,
Like
he
after the
definitely
first
was.
interaction, I was like, this dude is a lot. Like that's just so weird and like so creepy. That's what I'm saying though. Like it's I like to be with somebody that likes me more, but not that much more. Like
And I feel like that was so aggressive and it
it
happened
was. It was so
so
aggressive for
fast.
somebody that probably just sat around all summer staring at you in class. Like that's
Oh
creepy.
my god, that's the thing too that like I'm thankful because one of my other friends told me that and I was like, no, like I sat behind him.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
he
thank
could not
God.
look at me at
But like
all.
that's
That's
just
why at first I
so
was like, how did he know who I was? Because I'm like behind him.
yeah.
But I was that girl, like I always got there so early. So he like
So
saw
he
me
saw
as
you. I
yeah.
used to sit in the back of the class all the time. That
I
was
sat in the back of the class. I
my
sat at the
comfort zone.
they have like the tables in the back for
Hmm.
like whoever wants. I would literally take a whole table and everyone else would sit in like
I'd be
this
like, please leave.
auditorium seating or whatever it's called.
Yeah, he was a lot. He was a lot. That's too much, I think. I think that there's like a fine line between liking someone more, which I think is totally acceptable, but then being like creepy, overbearing, feelings that make no sense. Like, why do you feel that way so
You
soon?
know what I've noticed?
What?
And I feel like you're gonna be like, Randy, we fucking noticed this so long ago.
What?
But there's this weird thing, guys, where men with the same names, I feel like I don't know, they're like attracted to me or some
Yeah,
weird thing.
there's a couple names and they all
And sadly, a couple days ago,
there's like
the
three of each of them.
the last one of the whole group of people with similar names,
Mm-hmm.
the one I told you about recently, and I was like, what the
Yes.
fuck is this bullshit?
Weird.
Like, I think I'm just done with like thinking, oh, this person with the same name is gonna.
I
be
think
different.
you, and I've been saying that. I think that it's time to like let go of that name and then like the other one that there was also three of them.
Yeah.
I
Well, no, because that's what I'm saying. Summer School Boy has the same name
Yeah.
as Yeah, so they're
Yeah.
all just no.
They're all one and the same, okay? Their parents named them that for a reason because they gave
Isn't
off
that
those types of
interesting?
vibes.
That's very interesting.
Yes. That's why, like, I don't think I've ever dated somebody with the same name.
Good, don't do it.
I don't think I
I've
have.
never seriously dated anyone with the same
No,
name,
I've like casually dated a
but
few
guys
people with
have
the
tried.
same
Yeah,
name, but I've never like dated anybody with the
yeah,
same name.
same.
I think that like if someone's name that I like had previously dated and I didn't like if that was the name of someone that I met and did like, I think it would deter me a little bit. I'd be like, or I'd be like, can I call you something else? Do you have another option?
I feel not crazy, but like I'm just thinking about all like my past relationships or just any relationship at all. And I feel like I've always been the person to just love more. Like
Yeah. I think that I've only had one other serious relationship outside of the one that I'm in now. But that one like evolved, like went through some things because I
yeah.
don't think that like it definitely changed between the two of us, like you were saying, like as you know, life goes on. But by the end of it, like totally, it was me. I was the one that
See,
was like,
because like that's how I feel. Like looking back at my my first relationship, I loved more the entire time. Like that was I was a senior in high school, like also just graduated from high school, like that was me all the way. Like I was young, like it's so stupid.
well, you're like 17.
Yeah. And then my last relationship, I feel like for the first couple months, like honestly, it was him for sure.
Yeah.
He loved me way more. And I
Well,
feel
they
like
always
that's
get
why
you when they get it to flip, and then you're the one that's like, wait.
I feel like that's what like took me by, because it's like even though I was only in one previous relationship, like going inner child, like just all relationships that oh my god, I'm dying. Gilbert just replied and said the fuck. He said the fuck question mark.
Gilbert,
so we all know he thinks he loves her more, but anyway, like I think about my last relationship and it's just like it definitely turned into me. Like
that's how mine was
loving
too, 100%.
Way more. And it's like, isn't that so wild? Like
that it changed. Well, because especially because you would like never like think that you would be the one that was like so like, oh my god, like I never
that's
thought
the thing
that
too. I always thought that because I was like that with my first boyfriend. So like I'm sure I've told you this, but I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast, but with my last boyfriend, even though that wasn't like my first love, like my like that was actually like my first love.
Yes,
like
yes.
I felt the most for that relationship, but I think about it and it's like at first he was the one who's like, oh, we're gonna be together, like you're my girlfriend, and I was like, nope. Like I literally was like, nope, like this is not happening.
That was me.
And then he was like, why not? And I was like, cause like there was like I had no reason. I was just honestly scared, like because I know how relationships would go for me, and I was just like, nope, like okay, like no, I don't want to do this.
I honestly think that I was so like anti it because I was only 16, I think, when
yeah, you were so young.
Yeah, I was a baby and I didn't know, like I had never like dated anybody before, and so I was like I don't know, and like I was like, Mom, is it okay if I have a boyfriend? Like, is this allowed? Like I was so young, so but it totally changed, and by the end of that, I was like, how the fuck did I end up here? Like,
isn't it?
You just never expect it, and I think that I applaud people that love more because I think that it comes with like a real. It just takes a lot of courage to love somebody more because you're really like putting your heart out there for somebody that not that they don't love you, but maybe they don't love you as much as you love them, and like that's a lot.
Well, I feel like that's when you think about it on like such a deep level, like how we are, or like however you want to think of this as, but I feel like right now I was thinking as you were talking, like, you know how they say like you sacrifice a lot like for love, like you know how that's like a thing. Do you feel like it should be that way? Like I feel like that's hard because it's like whether or not we think it should or should not be that way, it's like, do you feel like it has to be that way in order for it to work out?
Like sacrificing like what?
I just feel like just in general, like sacrifice.
when people,
I know we could be like, oh, it
it
depends.
depends.
But I'm like,
No,
I'm
I
trying to
don't
get
think it
past
has
that.
to be that way. I don't think it should be that way. And this is how I feel about like, when people are like relationships are work, and I agree. I fully agree that relationships
I
take work.
agree.
Like, and now that I'm in an adult relationship, the first one of my entire life, like I'm actually realizing that.
Yeah.
But I also have friends that are in relationships that I'm like, I think that's too much work. Like, I think that's
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I
That
think
sounds like
that,
my previous relationship.
yeah, like I think that yes, certain things will be sacrificed if you love someone and you're gonna, make this life with them and whatever. And yes, you're gonna have to put in work, and it's gonna be hard, and it's not always gonna be like this, perfect thing. But like, how much work, and like, how much are you gonna sacrifice for somebody?
I feel like that's when it just comes down to like whether you believe the relationship is worth it or not.
Yes,
and I feel like,
and don't you feel like when things become too much work that it's like a sign to be like, okay, like,
yeah, but like being honest, like in my last relationship, I feel like there were so many signs and there were so many people
yeah,
telling me like, Randy, this is not good, like stop.
yes,
And at the end of the day, like it just comes down to like whether you are ready
yeah.
to
I
like
mean,
move on from
I
that
like
or
to
not.
think that like now, I don't know. I like to think that now if something was too much work, I'd be like, okay, bye. Like, I know it's too much work.
Yeah.
Because then I was so young and dumb and was like, oh, I'll do anything. But
I think
don't
I
know.
like, well, I like to think as of recently, since I have been trying to like put myself back out there.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, tell me if you agree, but I feel like I've been doing a pretty good job at like being different than I have been in past
Yes,
relationships.
I agree.
Like for like sticking up for myself and
Yeah,
like
I agree.
not
And I
falling
think those
into
are
like
things
bullshit
that just
patterns.
come with like maturity,
Oh,
which
definitely.
is wild to me because I feel like you've always been so mature. But um, that just comes with experience too. Like, you don't know. Like, sure, we're all like, we don't want to be treated like shit, but when you're being treated like shit by somebody that you love, you're
Yeah, or you like
oftentimes
really
gonna put
care
up with
about.
it. Yeah, or you're
Yeah,
gonna be
like,
like, it's
and
okay, it's okay.
that's the thing, like it doesn't even have to be romantic relationships. Like
No,
these
any
are
relationship.
all relationships.
But I think that's like, and now you've been in that position, where you're like, okay, I will never put up with that again, despite feelings, whatever. But so I think that just comes with like time and sadly, like being treated like crap or getting your heart broken.
So let's put some other things like into perspective. So like since the topic is whether we think or how we feel about when you're, so right now let's talk romantic relationships. When you're in a romantic relationship with someone and one of you loves each other more than the other
Mm-hmm.
person, what do you think like about, cuz like I don't know, yeah, I don't think you've necessarily been through this predicament, but like, what about those couples where one of them cheats on the other
Mm.
and they like are like, I love you, like, I still love you so
Yeah.
much, like it was a mistake. Like,
I don't
what
think
do you
I
think
could
about
do
that?
it. Okay, if it was me, I'd be like, fuck you, bye. Um, I don't think that person loves them.
Because
I
someone
think,
wrote in and asked about this, so that's why I'm bringing it up.
I don't know. Okay, like, do you love somebody that you cheat on?
See, I don't believe you do, and this is what Enrique and I talked about this morning. Like in that case, like I don't. Obviously, you clearly don't love them if you cheated on
No,
them
you care
with
about
someone
them,
else.
sure, and you may have feelings for
But I
them.
don't think you love that person at all.
No, and I think that if you did love somebody, right, you would be a good enough person to be like, I'm not getting this from our relationship, so I need us to fix
Yeah,
it,
like you
or
should be
we're
able
gonna
to talk
break
about it.
up, and I'm gonna go find it somewhere else.
Yeah, and
I think people cheat because so many people let other people get away with it. I think that's why they do it. Because people cheat because other people are like, it's okay, I know it was an accident. You know?
it's just
I don't know.
like
I don't think you can fully entirely be in love with somebody and then go and cheat on them.
cheat on
I
them.
don't.
I don't believe that either, at all. 100%. I stand by that. But it's like I don't even know like where I'm going with this, because I was gonna say like You know those dumbasses who, like, whether boy, girl, whatever, the cheater, they're always like, but I love you so much, like it
Yeah, it
didn't
was
mean
just a
anything. Or
mistake.
the
It was an
people who do it
accident.
like more than once.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And it's like
mean,
you're sad because you got caught.
well, and I think that a lot of the times too, there's something wrong, not like wrong, but like that person that's cheating is probably like a very insecure individual
Oh,
or has like so many other things going on, and I think that they tend to think that that's like, I don't know. I don't think that you could love somebody though, or be in love with somebody
okay.
and then do
Yeah,
that.
I wanted to bring that up because someone messaged us about it, so I just wanted to like try
I
to bring
always
that into
forget that people
conversation.
like cheat on other people. Like I this fucking I'm gonna now that we're talking about this, I'm gonna tell you a story. This girl I follow on Instagram, she works on some TV show, and she's like a little influencer, right? She's the cutest baby, whatever. But so she gave birth, the baby's probably 1 or 2, and she was married. And while she was giving birth, right, she had this traumatic birthing experience. Like she almost died. The
Oh
baby,
wow.
yeah, it was like a whole thing. The poor baby had to have, I think he had to have heart surgery. This whole traumatic experience, and then like people kind of noticed like after like suddenly her husband was like not on her Instagram stories anymore and all these things, and she eventually came out and told the story that her husband was cheating on her the entire time she was pregnant, the entire time she was in the hospital almost dying with their baby, and all these fucking things. And I was
Scum of the
like
earth. Uh,
your pregnant wife, your
God will take
pregnant
care
wife.
of him.
Dude,
That
I
is
was just like that. To
disgusting.
me, you don't love somebody if you do that to
Like,
them.
see, and this is the thing for me. Like, I feel like this definitely goes with this topic. I'm trying to like you guys. I hope it correlates for you guys, but I feel like too when it comes down to it, whether you cheated on someone one time, drunken
Mhm.
experience, whatever, or it was like multiple occasions, different people, same person, whatever. I feel like if you can do that, like you never really loved that person. Like
No.
that's how I see it.
I also
And it's
think
like,
that it's like an added evilness when people cheat and like think that they're gonna just get away with it
get away
forever,
with
and
it.
like they
And
have
just
like a
like,
whole secret thing happening, and like they'll never, that you would have never known unless you caught them. Like that's
yeah. And it's
crazy.
like, or those people who like, even like, let's say it's just like a one night thing and it's not something that's like a relationship or reoccurring.
Uh-huh.
Like, let's say it was like a drunken, like, kiss or whatever at a bar. And they're just like, oh, it's just a kiss. Like, they never suspect anything. They're just like,
Yeah.
I'm never going to say anything. And they just like continue on and have this long
Yeah.
relationship and just like,
Yeah. I mean, like, I've mentioned this on here. Like in my younger years, I used to make some almost questionable choices that like now I'm like, oh my God, that was not okay. But I never was like, I'm gonna keep this a secret. Like I was like, oh my God, like this is what I almost, you know what I mean? Um, but I also think like I was in a terrible place in my life. Not that it's any excuse, but I didn't know
yeah.
what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like a binge drinker. It was a terrible time. But like yeah,
Miranda,
people,
a binge
dude.
drinker.
People that like that guy that I just mentioned, like he had like a whole thing and like a whole family. Would he have ever got, like nothing would have ever come out if she didn't catch him? That's
I don't
insane.
know. She's so awful.
People are just evil is like really the bottom line. Like there's some people that are just terrible, and we've talked about this before. If you're gonna cheat, you should just not be in relationships
Yeah,
because
just
there's
end
no point.
it.
Or tell
Just
your have an open relationship. That's a better idea.
if yeah, if that's something that the
Yeah, if
other
you feel like
person
you
wants and you
need,
can talk to them about it.
I don't know what it is with cheaters feeling like they need to be in relationships but also need to cheat. It's a weird thing to me.
So to the topic, one thing we both believe is that throughout the relationship there's always going to be one person that loves the other person more, right? We both think that
I think that in like your dating life, I don't know
in the
about
dating phase.
marriage. I don't know about when you get married if that changes.
You think when you're married it's like sort of like same amount?
I feel like by the time,
like equal distribution of
I feel
love?
like it has to be, right? Like by the time you get
Well,
married, you should be on like
I
equal
feel like
level.
that's a you should.
Yeah, but
That's a
not
what we
everyone's going to be that
think.
way. Like, okay, don't you think when you like have a child with somebody that you probably both love each other?
I
Well,
feel
not
like
for
that's what we
everybody.
think. That's what we think it should be.
Yes. I don't know. I mean, in the
Because
examples
people just
that,
be getting pregnant and just marrying people just
yes,
because.
people are like, yeah, people don't take
People
any of
don't
that
think.
seriously anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, but in like the relationships that I've seen that like they're married and they like my sister and Josh, I feel like I don't know, I'm not in their relationship, but I feel like they're balanced, and I feel like them like having my niece together, like they just their love for each other grew, and like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it outweighs the
Yeah.
other, but I don't know, like I could be wrong and Josh could be like, watching your sister give birth to our baby, like, oh my god, I love her so much, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like that's the thing too. Like we'll never know because we're not them, and like I feel like we could ask them, and they could be honest with us, but it's
Yeah,
like we
I'm
don't
gonna
know because
ask
we
him,
don't
I'm gonna go see them
experience
later, and
it.
I'm gonna be like, please tell me.
But
I don't know, I
I
feel
feel
like
like
it
everyone's
changes though.
experience is different, and I
Of
think
course.
like how we were saying, I think over time, and like Enrique said, as the relationship evolves and grows,
Mm-hmm.
like its roles may be
Yeah, I think
like,
it definitely switches.
yeah,
I think
depending.
so. Like, I think that in my current relationship, I think we have like a very good balance of things. Like, I know, and I've already, like, I felt it switch certain times, and I do, like you said,
Yeah.
I think that it really depends on what
Like
you're going
everything
through
else,
in life and
it
like all the
depends.
things. Exactly. And like you see
Yeah.
somebody doing certain things or you see them, in a different way. Like, okay, for example, I'm gonna have to tell Rodrigo I'm talking about. Like, for example, when my
Rodrigo is her boyfriend, if you
yes,
guys
who is
didn't know
also
this.
Jose. There's not two different people.
Yeah, we just flip back and forth
But
with
like
names.
when he came and stayed with my family, like during the time that my papa passed away and all those things, like that totally changed or my feelings totally evolved because I was like, wow, like, this is a person that I love doing all these things and look how they're here for me and my family
Like
and
he's
all.
showing up, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that when you go through like big life changes or
Oh,
when
for
you get
sure.
to see somebody, around their family or you get to see them interact with people you love, I think that it's going to change for sure. But I don't know. And we can't comment on marriage because we're not fucking married, so
Yeah.
we don't
I
know.
think that's so nice. I feel like that's what it needs to be. Like you just need to be able to show up and like love. I feel like
Yes.
love, like you should always choose love. Like that should just be like an everyday
Right.
thing. But I think like definitely when like your person needs you to show up for them, like I feel like that's you should just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
My
too bad
therapist-
relationships aren't always like that. But
No, the other day my therapist and I were talking about did I say this on the podcast? No. I don't know. If I did, I'll say it again. We were talking about like being vulnerable and like all those things, right, in relationships, and she was like, Miranda, people are just so much more likely to something basically she was talking about that we're like more prepared to like panic and like run from somebody than just like accept love. And she's like, and that's in every situation in life. And she like gave me all these different examples. And I was just like, oh my God. And she was like, and do you know how much easier it is to just accept love from people and to give love to people? And I was like,
yeah, it truly is.
It
and
is.
It's like
but
we
our
just
brains
choose
are
to be
always like,
assholes.
yeah, we're always like, but what could go wrong? And what about this? And what? And I
Yeah.
was just like, oh my
What
God.
do
Like
they
she
really
just,
mean?
she said it in this such a simple way. And I was like, how have I not ever thought about things like that before? I don't know.
We love therapy.
I really do love therapy.
But it's so true. Like, I don't know. I think, like, talking about it today, I definitely believe that the role, like, I think if you're in a healthy relationship, like, how I was saying, like, you just show up for your person. And, like, I feel like, too, if you need more from your person, like, you should be able to tell them that without going and searching and doing other things.
Yeah, going outside of your relationship. No,
Yeah.
I'm so, you know what? Now that we talked about this and like said all these things out loud, I agree with you. Like it should be like a healthy balance of like, okay,
Yeah.
it
I don't
transfers between us. Who
like
does?
I feel like at first, like months ago when we first started having this conversation and
Mm-hmm.
people started telling us like they should love you more, like I think it definitely needs to, like how you're saying, like now that we're talking about it out loud,
Yeah.
like it definitely needs to be a healthy balance.
Yeah, because I think, like, it just depends on who needs the most love at the moment, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like just because you are giving someone more love than they're giving you doesn't mean that they, I mean, obviously it depends what they're doing and like
Yeah.
if their actions don't show that or not. Because it's like someone could easily be like, yeah, I love you so much. And they can say all these things,
And be
but
a
it's like
liar.
the actions, people like pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, yeah, it should definitely be like a healthy balance. And now that it's like, duh, now that we're talking about it out loud, I feel like we just make things, we say this all the time, we make things so much harder than they need to be.
Mm-hmm. We do. We really do.
Like I do it all the time. Like I just assume
I think
that
it's
people
human
know
nature.
and read my. It is. It is. Like I
It's
assume
just,
people read my mind, and it's like you know how easy it is to get what you want. You just gotta ask for
you
it.
just have to tell people. Like, it's so simple. And I struggle with that so much because that's just who I
Especially
am.
just like in relationships,
Well, and
like friendships, like
yes,
any sort of
like for
relationship.
some reason we're so uncomfortable just like asking for what we want or being like, I need
Yeah.
this right now. Like, which I don't understand why. I don't know if it's like a female thing or if it's like, I don't know, because I know that like women in general, like
I'm
we
always
typically
like, I feel like I'm always afraid of getting like shut down.
same, and like 90% of the time they're gonna be like, okay, like you just
And
needed to tell me, or like,
this literally the book that I'm reading about like family patterns and all that stuff, behavior. I'm like, it's literally just like I'm conditioned this way because of like my experience like in
Yeah.
childhood. But like, isn't it wild how it like carries out through like until like you
yeah,
realize
well, that's
what
like
it is and
what
you
we
fix
talked
it.
about like last week with Sophia,
Yeah.
like how we were like, did you realize all these things, like,
Yeah.
you know,
They
I had
all, like,
no
trace back to
idea.
something.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, okay. I don't know though. Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, if we're gonna conclude on anything here, it's that you don't need to be with somebody that loves you more, which is so fucking, that's what I was gonna tell you. When I was like looking things, I wanted to see what other people had like written about
Yeah.
this. There were so many articles that were like, yes, you need to be with someone that loves you more because
And that's why I'm like, what happens to the people
Yeah.
who are
and it was like they're gonna love you for who you are and da 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 and your insecurities and all these things. And I was like, but is that like
that's not healthy.
No. And then
Like,
what?
and
So
I-
you don't love them for their insecurities and you don't love them for who they are? Like,
That's
it's
why I
just
think
weird.
it's so crazy because like before you and I literally started talking today, I feel like we were both on this page thinking like, yeah, like we definitely need
yes,
to be with people.
we
who
need to
love
be
us
with someone
more.
who loves us
And
more.
now it's like no, like it needs to be a healthy balance. And
Yeah.
I feel like if it feels weird, I don't know. I feel like if I'm clearly not in a relationship, but I like to think like in my next relationship, like because it's gonna be a healthy one, it better be. I feel like it just needs to be a healthy balance. And I feel like if you feel weird about like asking them for something you need, like you need to have like a big conversation with yourself
Yeah.
and with them to like try to fix that because it's like you shouldn't feel that way.
No. I tell my friends this all the time. I'm like, if there are things that you need and they don't know,
Like you can't get mad at them.
no, you can't get mad at them. When I think I struggle with that too, because sometimes I'm like,
You just want them to know. You're like,
and then
it feels
don't-
like common sense to you.
to be like, why the fuck don't you know this? But
Yeah.
don't you also think, and this is where I struggle when I'm being like therapy Miranda for my friends, part of me is like, they should know, like you've been together for X amount of years, and then I'm like, but do you never say
Dude,
anything?
Yeah.
Do you
like,
always act like these things are okay? Because if you do,
Oh,
then why
no.
you can't blame them.
Rainessa replied.
What'd she say?
Gilbert said the fuck, and she just put question mark. Ooh, I
She's
hope I
waiting.
didn't start something.
She's waiting for his response.
He said, I think I love you more.
See, so maybe everybody thinks they love their partner more. And it's not something you're
Okay.
having a conversation about. You're not going
Okay.
to be like, hey, babe, do
Being
you love me
honest.
more?
Being honest, is there any relationship, anyone that you know that you can think of right now where you are like, you definitely know that one person loves the other person more?
Yes. Mhm.
And, okay, you don't have to tell me who, obviously, but whoever you're thinking of in your head,
Uh-huh.
is that relationship a healthy one?
No.
Okay, see, like,
No, it's not. It's not at all. And it's like,
I'm not saying this is a fact, guys.
No,
but
but
I
it's-
think
It's like a thing, right? Because
I feel like if you both don't feel like you guys love each other more at certain times, then something's up. Like,
wow,
you shouldn't feel like it's just
we just broke it down to a science. Everyone ask yourself
Everyone
that question
listening,
about your relationship. If
they're
you
like,
say
this is so common sense. But, like, really, though, like, think about it. Like, I think, like, if we just changed our own minds about it having to be a healthy balance rather than someone just loving fucking us all the time. Because I think, too, like, originally, like, with my past relationships being, like, not the best or the healthiest, like, you learn a lot from that. But it's, like, it could really all be so simple.
It could. Like, now that I really... my whole perspective on this has changed now that we've had this conversation, because you have
at
to
first
love
I
each
feel
other.
like I was so scared. I feel like that's what it is. I was like so scared. I was like, no, I can't give like all of myself to someone because like
same. And I have those moments too where I'm like, ugh, I'm not going to be that vulnerable with anybody, like, because that's just me being like a guarded bitch because I don't want to, like, you know, accept love or give love. But I think that, like, you have to love each other the same. You have to. If you don't love each other the same, then someone's doing more work.
Accept
or
love if you don't give it to yourself. Like, it's so, like, it's so
These
cheesy.
Are just so, this is so dumb. Is this stuff people have already known and we're sitting here like, oh my God.
This is new to us. No, honestly, like, it totally has. But it's literally fucking our favorite. Perks of being a wallflower.
Oh my God.
We accept
I'm going to go watch that and cry after we finish recording.
Like, yeah, I think it has to be, okay, this is where we're ending. It has to be a balance. Healthy relationships, it's a balance of love.
That's the only salute. Yeah, there's no.
Like, if it's not equal, I don't want it. I feel like that's truly what it comes down to. And we need to stop making things so fucking hard on ourselves.
I know. Like, now that we just had that whole, like,
now we're just
so
like,
clear. It's so clear. I'm like, wow. Wow. Look what a little 40-minute conversation can do.
Love that for us. Honestly, yeah.
I hope that, like,
time. People are probably listening and they're like, excuse me, ladies. Idiots. Morons.
We're also hoping that you can see, we're not sure how this is going to work, but maybe you'll get to see, like, us actually physically recording on our Instagram. So
I know. If you can, you should leave us a 5-star rating and
you
write
should
a
do that.
lovely review if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts. Or give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook at What the Fuck Are We Doing Now? What the FCK Are We Doing? Or Twitter at WTFAWD podcast.
Oh, wait, we have one more thing to mention that we've been forgetting to fucking...
Yes. You just reminded me. Okay, perfect.
Oh my God. Are you going to remind
it, girl?
Okay, so we have a few extra shirts left.
From our first merch drop.
From our first merch drop. We're not sure if this is the design that's going to be coming back or not.
Probably not.
Yeah. So if you're interested, just DM us. We can post what sizes we have left. We still have stickers. Yeah. So if you want a shirt,
if you want a shirt, it's like your last chance. Your actual last chance. If you couldn't snag one last time, and you really wanted one,
we got you.
You now have the opportunity.
I'm so glad I remember that.
I know. Honestly, we've been forgetting.
Yeah.
Because we've been having great conversation.
I
But
know.
that was a fun one. And
it was.
We'll
be
here again next week. As always.
Like always.
See you on Wednesday and then see you next Monday. Bye, guys.